My name is Sid Haas. I'm the Vice President of Business Development here at LKCS, and I want to welcome you to today's webinar on our statement services and how statements can be a valuable marketing tool for your institutions. For those of you not familiar with LKCS, we have about 200 credit union statement clients. And more importantly, I like to say that we have 200 credit union statement references. Many of our credit unions have been with us for decades. We don't lose clients very often. We lose them primarily due to mergers and acquisitions, and that's about it. And occasionally to like core processor conversions, but really those are the only reasons that clients leave us. Our customers are very, very happy. We're happy to provide references at any point in time. So as you'll see, as we get started into the meat of the presentation, we have a very powerful statement platform, and we can prepare and design statements in just about any format, or layout that you can imagine. So all of our statements are actually custom designed. When we start up with a new client, we ask each of them to let us know of any specific formatting options or styles or statement elements that they want to incorporate. And we can customize, your statements to incorporate your brand, to incorporate, any design elements, that you can foresee, that you've seen in, any credit union statements, bank statements, investment statements. And obviously we can share lots and lots of different samples with you. So when we talk about statement reformatting, these are the types of things that we're talking about. On the left is the typical statement output that you would see, direct from a core system, right? A computer programmer was tasked with having to create a statement output, that met the regulatory requirements. And obviously that does that. It's not particularly pleasing to look at. It's not easy, for an account holder to review. And we can take that information and make it much more pleasing to the eye. Obviously build, the brand of the institution, and make it, much more attractive and modern. So that's what we're talking about with statement reformatting. And obviously you're also beginning to see how we can incorporate marketing, which we'll talk about quite a bit in the presentation today. And you'll see many different examples, of statement design. You'll see how we can change, the style of account headings, right? How those can be different. You'll see incorporations of summaries and, different messaging areas. You'll even see how we can reorganize columns of data. So in this example, we've separated withdrawals and deposits into separate columns. We've moved the transaction description to the right-hand side of the statement, making it very, very easy, for an account holder to scan really just, the balance and transaction amounts of their data without even having to scroll all the way across, the entire page. So just, different changes, within a statement to make it more friendly for the user. Again, just a few different options and style. You'll see different places, different placements of marketing ads and cross-sell ads, which again we'll talk about, as we proceed with the presentation. Different placements of summary information, different ways to incorporate, all of this type of information. And a big trend now, obviously, is to print and display everything in color. So color, printing used to be much more expensive than black and white. The cost of color is coming down substantially, with technology advancements. So more and more of our clients are shifting to actually printing statements in color. So it's something to consider. So, we're happy to provide pricing, and printing your statements in black only and in color so you can see the difference. Most of our black statements are printed on a kind of a pre-printed statement form. So by printing in color, you can, you don't need those pre-printed forms, those shells, right, or letterhead as some people would call them. So obviously, you can consolidate those costs and get the benefits of obviously additional punches of color, to again support your brand, throughout that statement process. And we can work with data from any core system. So people ask us all the time, can you accept XML? As that seems to be a trend in the cores. They want to provide XML, and certainly we can. Whether you're providing, an ASCII text format, XML, any data format from any core system we can incorporate. We can take that data, we can certainly create it, in a layout similar to what the core processors provide, but we can go significantly, beyond that. So this is an example of a statement that we designed, several months ago last year, for one of our clients. And you'll begin to see some really unique elements in this statement. So on the right is exactly, kind of the sample output from their core from that XML data. But we didn't obviously follow that layout. You'll see how we've incorporated, excuse me, a message area. This is obviously customized each month by the client. At the bottom, we also have a graphical, what we call statement insert, which we'll discuss further, but these can be any size, placed in different areas, on the page, or, even on different pages as well. And you'll see that we've added summary boxes. So you'll see summaries for both deposit accounts and loan accounts that don't appear anywhere, from the core processor. So this was, these are built by pulling ending balances from each account that we find in the statement. And then you'll see that we've even added little icons. So based on the transaction type within each account, we've added these little icons. So visually, an account holder begins to understand their statement, even by the use of icons within the statement itself. And then we've added some color to even show withdrawals and deposits, positive and negative amounts, right? Using red for any negative amounts, any negative transactions or balances. For checking accounts and at the ends of deposit accounts, we'll even provide a little summary at the end of the account showing their activity, over that statement period. So we're showing the number of withdrawals, the amount of withdrawals, number of deposits, amount of deposits, etc. We've added a check summary. So there are still some people, especially business customers, right, that write a lot of checks. Not many, but certainly business accounts do. So we'll provide that check summary. Based on the number of checks, that check summary might go across half of the page, as it does here, or if they have a lot of checks, it'll actually go across the entire width of the page. And then you can see how we've disclosed overdraft fees. We're doing the same thing on loans, right? So for loans, after each loan account, you'll see we've added a loan summary, right? Making it very easy for account holders to see when what their next payment amount is, what the payment due date is, and any past due amounts, right? And we've incorporated the same type of design elements into mortgage statements. So you can see how this, how our capabilities can even spread across different types of documents, including any types of daily notices, right, that you might send out, and any credit card statements, et cetera, et cetera. So when we start to talk about the marketing options available on your statements, what we're talking about is an industry term that's known as TRANSPROMO statement marketing. And TRANSPROMO or transpromotional is just a word that is combined from transaction and promotional. It's the concept of combining promotional advertising or marketing messages with your transactional documents, right, such as your statements. And LKCS has data mining, we utilize data mining techniques and business intelligence software and our variable data printing technology to really help you make the most of that statements and take advantage of that free postage, right? The most expensive part of sending out your statements is the postage amount. Certainly not the printing or the paper or the envelopes. It's what it costs to mail it. So if you can piggyback, marketing and cross-sell campaigns into that same envelope, it's obviously going to provide some benefit to you. So the inserts, those graphical ads that you have seen in a few of the examples that I shared to you, really don't cost very much at all. They literally cost, about a penny or so to print, maybe even less on a page. Those ads, those graphical ads, can be sent to everyone that receives a statement, the same ad, or you can target specific groups of your account holders to receive one or more of those messages. So you're not just limited to the text boxes, right? The text only message that you're used to. You can include graphics and obviously logos and change fonts and include photos and even personalize those ads. And I'll show you examples of what I mean by that. This same technology enables us to print loan payment coupons and rate grids and regulatory notices directly onto the statements. You can design these ads yourself. We can custom design them for you, and we even have an electronic library of inserts available for you to select from. So these are some examples, and these are, some of thousands probably that we've printed. So when I talk about personalizing a loan payment coupon, we can actually pull in data from within the statement itself to populate an insert. So this loan payment coupon obviously has some operational value and some real benefits, to your account holders. But to us, it's utilizing the same technology as any other graphical insert, only we're pulling in some of the variable data, right? Some of the loan payment information that we find on the statement to populate this coupon. And we're doing the same thing with this skip payment example on the right side, where we're pulling in, name and address information, member number information, and loan number information for any eligible loans in this example. But you can see, I think, some of the possibilities with doing this. And since these inserts can be any size, you can actually even incorporate a full page letter into your statements. Now, you're not going to do this, obviously, potentially every month, or certainly not for every account holder, but it's a great way potentially to welcome new members, in this case to, convey, a message that's, probably a little bit longer than your standard, 3.5 or 2.5 inch high little statement insert. So this particular client, elected to utilize a full page as the first page of their statement to, members that were eligible for the skip pay offer. And then the rest of the statement appears behind this first page. So you're literally, transforming your statement into a separate direct mail campaign at really no additional cost, or just the cost to print this full page, campaign, which is probably less than 4 cents. And we can do the same thing with pre-screen loan campaigns. So LKCS has relationships with all of the credit bureaus. So we can go ahead and actually identify, your account holders that are eligible for refinance offers or new loan offers for any type of auto loan, mortgage loan, personal loan, credit card, and actually incorporate those pre-screen loan offers again as the first page of your statement. So generating loan business, from what most customers obviously see as a cost center to offset some of that cost of sending out those statements each month or each quarter. We can target market with inserts or inserts that get inserted into your statements based on all sorts of criteria. So we can look at account relationships, account balances, certain types of account activity, right? What types of transactions there are. We can look at geography, where people live, any conditions we can find within that statement data file, or any conditions we can find in a separate data file that you send us. So if you send us a data file, whether it's from an MCIS system, from a third-party mortgage or investment platform, anything like that, that we can match to match an account number, or some kind of person number or member number, anything like that. We can use that to trigger these types of onserts or inserts. And that capability also allows us to then obviously take advantage of all sorts of cross-sell opportunities. So we can have campaigns running from month to month, again, to welcome new account holders, to thank people who are paying off their loans or getting close to paying off their loans. We can incorporate auto loan recapture campaigns. So, people who hit that 36-month or 42-month period on an auto loan, wherever you see loans begin to kind of leave your institution, right? We can start to, convey that message that you're ready for them, you're here for them for their next loan. Birthday messages are pretty popular. We can just have a little happy birthday message sent to, your account holders, on the statement that's during their, the month of their birthday. The loan payment coupons I've shown you. Obviously, any insurance, mortgage, investment partnerships that you might have, we can start to, cross-sell those types of services. Your commercial accounts can obviously receive different types of campaigns, marketing offers than your retail or personal accounts. So for those of you that are growing by new mergers or branch acquisitions, we can actually incorporate onboarding type campaigns to welcome those, new account holders to your institution, and they can receive different sets of onserts even over a period of months than all of your other account holders. And for any credit unions that have seg relationships, again, we can target those different segs. Thank them for obviously their membership, but even potentially offer special campaigns to those segs. So anything you can dream up, we can help you, determine the best way to target those groups. We can also incorporate marketing right onto your envelopes. So I tell my customers all the time, try to open an envelope without looking at the back of it. It's very awkward. It's actually very difficult. And, I'm always amazed at how many envelopes I receive that don't have anything on the back of them. The back of an envelope really is a billboard, and it's very inexpensive to print on the back of that envelope. We charge $11.50 per thousand, I think it is, to print a message on the back side of an envelope. Really, really inexpensive. So we have all, literally hundreds or thousands of custom of stock designs that you can choose from. You can provide your own as well, or we can custom design something for you. But we do have an online library of stock designs that can be used for envelope backers, onserts, statement inserts, and then you can obviously extend them for website banner ads. We can design lobby posters, postcards, and anything else you might need. So you can build full campaigns from any of these concepts. So the link to this is on our website, or you can ask your LKCS representative for more information about how to find these concepts. But we email links out to all of our statement customers each month on new designs that are available and how to access this library, so you can select what onsert or envelope backer you want to use in a given month or quarter. And when it comes to e-statements, we obviously know that e-statements are the future for the majority of your statements, and we clearly support that. And including statement marketing is just as important, if not more important, on an e-statement, right? On an account holder that only does business with you digitally than one that receives it via mail. So all of those marketing techniques that I've talked about can actually be incorporated into our e-statements as well. Obviously, onserts will appear directly on our e-statements. Inserts, right, that are included in your statement envelope are delivered with our e-statements. We just deliver them through the use of banner ads. These banner ads appear at the top of our e-statement pages, and they will link to PDFs or web pages, on your website with information of, that was contained in that statement insert potentially, or other information, right? We can link directly to a loan application, for example. And we can even flag banner ads, that are new that members haven't clicked on yet. Similar to onserts and inserts that are included with your statements, these banner ads can appear selectively. So different members, different account holders can see different combinations of banner ads as well. We can customize the e-statement email notifications that get sent out each month. So rather than just saying, hey, you've got, your next statement is available online, we give you the opportunity to customize that message, whether it's with a graphic, such as the example on the left, or just some text messaging, such as the example on the right. We're sending out the email notifications for you anyway, so you might as well incorporate a little bit of marketing flair right into that email notification as well. And when it comes to e-statements, color obviously doesn't cost more to present on a computer screen. So even if you're printing your statements in black only, we can still present your e-statements in full color. So that means any onserts and even headings and different elements of the statement itself can be designed in color on the e-statement, even if it is printed just in black and white on the paper statement. And there are lots of advantages to LKCS's e-statements. We truly believe that our e-statements need to provide a better experience to your end users than paper statements. So we can deliver any type of document electronically. It's not just limited to statements. We can deliver your tax forms, your account notices, your disclosures, really anything that we process and print and mail, we can deliver to any of your e-statement members or customers. They're mobile friendly, right? We know that a higher and higher percentage of people are accessing e-statements and websites in general on their mobile phones and tablets. So we make sure that our e-statements are mobile friendly. As we've talked about, the email notifications are customizable. They're also trackable. We can send text message notifications as an option. So more of our customers are requesting that capability. Again, that goes along with that shift right to mobile devices. People are much more apt to click on a link in a text message or read a text message than they are in an email. So I've shown you the banner ads that we use to link to your newsletters and inserts and disclosures, different things like that. We have online retention, typically for about 12 months, but more and more of our customers are requesting longer than that. So we have many customers that have 18 months and 24 months and some that are significantly longer than that. You can provide your account holders with the ability to actually view e-statements for joint accounts from a single login. So they can log in once, whether that's through our platform or through a single sign-on from your online banking, and they can access their e-statements from any accounts that they are joint owners on as well, often that same, one place. You would have the ability, if you want it, to actually review all statements and tax forms and, online before they're sent out. Certainly not needed, but some of our customers like that reassurance. They want to review the documents, check them over before they get released. So we have that ability for online approval, we call it. For you, we'll send you a notification. You can then log in, review the document, approve it, and then it gets sent out for both print and to your e-statement accounts. Your employees, your staff, has access to every document online instantly. And those are all of your documents, not just for the people that are signed up for e-statements. We have obviously, very, complete user management. So your employees would be able to control and see who's enrolled for e-statements. There's different permission sets, so that different employees would have access to different aspects of e-statements, even just control what types of documents and which documents people can see, which employees can see. There's complete reporting, right? So obviously which users, which account holders are signed up, but also all the access logs, email bounces, everything like that is available to you. But to help increase e-statement enrollment, we want to make sure that e-statement enrollment is super easy. So as soon as an account holder enrolls for e-statements, they're presented with instant access to their documents. They can enroll entirely without your involvement. So whether that's done by them setting a password without online banking integration or integration with single sign-on, we've got integrations with multiple online banking vendors. Enrollment is done completely without any human intervention. So, account holder decides they want to sign up for online for e-statements, they can enroll literally within a matter of seconds, and all of their documents are instantly available to them. We know that not everyone will get e-statements, right? We have customers that are feeing for paper and trying to do everything they can. We have customers that have over 60 and 70% e-statement penetration even without that. But we don't really expect anyone to hit 100% e-statement penetration. There's always going to be some documents that you need to mail. And the post office's reputation isn't exactly stellar lately, right? Let's be honest. So how do you know that your critical documents are actually getting delivered? And are they getting delivered on time? So we actually provide a service for you to get, to track your mail delivery through very intuitive dashboards. And all of this data is available to you securely via, online from us at a very, very low cost. So I'll share some screens with you, but you'd have the ability to see a delivery summary of all of your mail that we send out for you. Some of the things that you'll see on this screen are obviously you can control the date range that you want to examine. You would see the number of mail pieces that you sent out over that date range. You would see how many were scanned. So every one of our mail pieces includes a barcode. So we'll show you how many of those barcodes were scanned by the post office and what percentage that was. And based on that barcode, we can confirm delivery of a pretty high percentage usually of those mail pieces. So how many of those scanned mail pieces were confirmed as delivered? We can show you both the median and average delivery days of all of that mail. And then you can actually break down even into the individual mailings. So you can look at different types of letters and notices and statements and look at each mailing on any particular day. The post office gives us, so in this case I'm looking at one specific mailing, but the post office gives us metrics for how long it takes to deliver mail between any two zip codes in the US. So based on where we mail your statements from to what zip code that mail piece is going to, the post office will tell us if it's supposed to take 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, what the expected mail delivery time is. And from there we can then calculate how many of your mail pieces were delivered on time, how many were delivered early potentially, and how many were delivered late. And you'll see that actually in a number of different ways, but you'll even see a projected versus actual mail delivery. So on a particular day, how many pieces were expected to be delivered and how many pieces were actually delivered on that day. On this particular dashboard, we'll actually show you delivery days by, to the average days to delivery by state, different things like that. So again, you can select the date range and class of mail, things like that on every one of these dashboards. You'll see similar data at the top, right? The total number of mail pieces, numbers scanned. In this case, you'll see the number of that were forwarded to a different address for any reason. And at the bottom, you'll see overall delivery metrics, how many were delivered, right, and how many were late. But you'll begin to see average days to delivery by state and even to 3-digit zip code regions. So the first 3 digits of any 5-digit zip code is actually a region, and the 5-digit zip code. So from here, we can investigate why this particular zip code might have taken that long. We provide mapping as well. So you'll be able to see that same information in maps. So, whoops, let me go back one. So you'd be able to see the percentage of mail delivered, by state or by specific zip code even. You would see the average delivery days, the number late, and you can obviously zoom in on any state and get down to that 5-digit zip code level to see that same type of data. So it's really however you want to consume that information. And we track every individual mail piece. So when an account holder contacts you and says, hey, I didn't get my statement, or I didn't get my credit card bill, or whatever it might be, you would have the ability to search by either name or account number in the system and actually find that information. And you would then be able to see if that statement was in fact delivered, right? So we can search by name or member number. And then for any particular mail piece, you will actually see every facility and every piece of equipment that envelope went through. And what's important to see here when you're looking at an individual scan is you'll see the date and time that this mail piece was scanned. You'll see the facility where it was scanned, and you'll see each process that mail piece went through, along with what they call a phase, right? And there's different phases of delivery. But what's most important to see here is whether that phase was what we call a stop the clock scan. So in this case, if you see a stop the clock scan of yes, that's how we can confirm delivery. So stop the clock is just that. The post office is measuring how long it takes from the time that mail enters the delivery stream till the time it basically enters that carrier's truck, right? Or when it leaves that carrier's truck. And that's what you're seeing. So when that clock stops, we get a stop the clock scan, and then it's out for delivery. So that's what you can see there. If we don't see a yes, that indicates to us that this mail piece was not yet confirmed as delivered. And that is what we put onto a delivery scan exceptions report. And this is what we use to report potentially missing mail, right, back to the post office to help track that down. So again, we can sort by date, and we can see that for this particular mailing, there were 755 pieces that were still not delivered. And we can drill into that and see that there was a particular tray, in this case, tray number 15, that was last seen in Green Bay that had 380 mail pieces of these 755 that were not delivered. And these are all of the little individual barcode numbers on all the envelopes in that tray. And we can see tray 16 was also in Green Bay, and it had another 185 pieces of mail. But this allows us to go back to our postmaster and say, hey, trays 15 and 16 appear to be hung up right in Green Bay, and he can then reach out to the Green Bay post office and find that mail. And it's amazing when we make that phone call, all of a sudden this mail starts to move, it seems. All of this data can be exported. So on any of these dashboards, you'd have the ability to export as either Excel or a PDF. So if you needed to show, an account holder or a CEO, right, what the status of a particular document was, you would be able to show that. And that's how we share this data, with our post office as well. So that mail tracking is obviously a big deal now. And when it comes to privacy and security, nothing is more important to LKCS. Nothing, I mean, it's absolutely critical that we protect your data, and your account holders' financial information. So LKCS is SOC 2 certified. We truly believe that everything that we do to protect that information makes us better and better. Just to give you a few examples of what we do, in addition to those annual audits, we have very comprehensive IT and security procedures and policies in place. All of our systems are patched and updated. We have third-party monitoring to ensure that those patches are updated. So they'll notify us of any vulnerabilities every day if they find any. Our statement page and envelope counts are verified multiple times throughout every process. So our programmers verify those counts, our printer operators verify those counts, and our inserter operators verify those counts. And if at any point in time we're missing a page or a statement, a full statement, our operations will stop until we can locate it. Nothing leaves our building if we can't account for every page and every statement. We have, obviously the latest firewall technology and live threat detection on all of our data. We have a formal disaster recovery plan. All of our data is actually replicated to an offsite disaster recovery facility where we can process statements from, in the event of a disaster. All of our statement printing and inserting equipment uses those 2D barcodes that I shared with the mail tracking. We also use camera systems to verify that inserter accuracy. All of our employees undergo background checks. They're trained and tested on IT security. They receive videos now every 2 weeks on IT security. So it's kind of ingrained in our culture, information security and privacy. It's something we take very, very, very seriously. Our building is secure. All entrances are protected with two-factor entry systems, cameras throughout, and all of our data is encrypted with a minimum of 256-bit encryption, and all data is encrypted at rest. So this is just a fraction of some of the controls and procedures that we have in place, but we can provide lots and lots of documentation. We realize that information security doesn't make us different, right? You expect us to have that, and hopefully every statement vendor takes it as seriously as we do. But what makes us different is truly exceptional customer service. And obviously every company can say that they provide excellent customer service, but how do they show it? We show it by customizing our operations to meet our customers' individual business needs. Two examples of that is one, we enlarge the statement for one particular account holder with a vision impairment. It's less expensive for the credit union, in this case, for the customer, for us to actually print a statement on an oversized sheet of paper than it is for us to design and process a large print version of that statement, which might cost them, a couple $1,000s in programming for one particular member, where, might cost a couple dollars a month, for us to print it out on a larger piece of paper and handle it manually. It's a manual process, and vendors like us don't like manual processes, but that's what's best for this customer, so that's what we do. One statement is mailed via certified mail, right, to an account holder that was potentially victimized by identity theft. This person doesn't want electronic statements. They still want to receive their paper statement, but they don't want it going through the regular mail stream. So how do we deliver that, right? We deliver it via certified mail. Again, it's a much more manual process. It's not something that can always be automated, but it's something that we do because that's the need that we have to meet. And that's why our customers love us, right? And we truly do love them back. Our last Net Promoter Score, right in the middle of the pandemic, still had a score of 91. Which we're just exceptionally proud of, right? That's a world-class Net Promoter Score. It doesn't come easy, right? It's something that all of our team works on very, very hard. That's why we can provide 200 statement references. So what you can expect as a statement client, you will have a minimum of 3 contacts. You'll have a sales rep, you'll have a customer service rep, and you'll have, contact information for our statement coordinator. And you can contact any of those via phone or email, and you can expect to get a timely response. We will get back to you. We may not have the answer to your question right away, but you'll at least know that we got, that we heard from you and we're working on it. And we also have an after hours hotline. So you can call at any time, day or night, and you will be able to reach somebody. I like to say you ain't never had a friend like us, right? Because we are proactive. We will contact you even if we suspect that there might be an issue with your statements. And we do have your back. We are watching out for our customers all the time. We'll check all sorts of things, as I'll show you here in a minute. And we'll catch all sorts of, potential little errors and let you decide how you want us to handle them. And it doesn't delay anything. All statement vendors monitor quality, but most of them do it solely, with computers, right? With automated controls. And computers can't catch everything. Our employees verify the quality manually at every stage of our operations. We do it with exhaustive checklists that are completed by the people who process your files, by the people who print your statements, and by our inserter operators. These checklists are filed with every job. They're actually checked by a supervisor at each step, and they're audited by our auditors annually. So we take these checklists pretty seriously. And what are some of the things that we check? We actually spell check your messages, and we also check them for grammar, by the way. So any statement messages that you have, we compare quantities, and we do it methodically. So we're not just looking at the total quantity of statements, we're actually comparing statements or quantities from month to month and quarter to quarter. So if we see a significant difference in the quantity of statements that you sent us last month compared to this month, and we don't know why, we'll ask about it. If we see a difference in the number of home equity accounts this month compared to home equity accounts last month, we'll ask you about it. We've seen all sorts of strange things over the years. We've had customers that have gone through, core processor upgrades and left out, an entire, like all of their, CDs were left off of their statements and they never knew it, right? And they wouldn't have known it had we not called it to their attention. We look at the number of pages. We look at all sorts of quantities, not just the number of statements. And if we see something that just doesn't seem right, we'll question you. We verify the date range of your statements, right? We want to make sure that you're generating a file over the full range that we expect, and we want to make sure that there's transactions in that file over that complete date range. We randomly check statements for accuracy by actually calculating from the starting balance to the ending balance from each transaction without paying attention to the running balances that are on the statements. And yes, we do find errors occasionally. We don't do that obviously in every statement, but we randomly pick some out. And we will check every one of our clients' statements with a calculator. We track when you're audited annually, and we make sure that audit messages are included. And a lot more. I mean, that's just a few things, but it really does make us different. We go above and beyond what any clients expect, and that's why we have the tagline, "We do that." And when it comes to all that checking and verifying, people think that these manual procedures must slow us down. That's what competitors are afraid of. That's why they don't do it. Why they don't do what we do, but that's also why they don't catch what we catch. And the truth is, it doesn't slow us down. It makes us better, not slower. It makes us more accurate. Month after month, over 62% of our statements mail within 1 day of us receiving our statement files. Over the past 6 months, 88% of our statements mailed within 2 days, And over the past year, none of our statements were late. They all mailed within our kind of, guaranteed 3 days. So I'll end with this quote: coming together is beginning, keeping together is progress, and working together is success. And we look forward to establishing a long and mutually successful relationship with each and every one of you. Here's my contact information. Please feel free to reach out with any questions that you might have. I'd be happy to respond to you or get you in touch with one of our sales reps here, get you additional information, samples, pricing, anything that you might need to help you with your decisions. So I'm available. I'll stay online for the next few minutes to answer any questions, or feel free to contact me offline after the presentation today. Thank you very much.